What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you a look at Graven, an action-adventure FPS style game, obviously taking a lot of inspiration from retro titles like I would say Doom and Quake probably, so a boomer shooter essentially, though this one does have a fair bit of emphasis on interactions with the environment, which takes a few different forms using different types of magic to interact with certain obstacles, solving various forms of puzzles, and a few other things, and you combine that with an enemy system that has strengths and weaknesses against the different types of weapons you can equip, and I think you've got something pretty interesting going on. Graven is launching out of early access into its 1.0 release on January 23rd, and I'm able to bring you this video a tiny bit early, courtesy of its publisher, Fulcrum Publishing, alongside its developer, Slipgate Ironworks, via a key they sent over. To start a little more towards the beginning, Graven puts you in the role of a orthogonal priest, as they call it, but in our case, we were excommunicated and sentenced to death essentially after we avenged the death of your adopted daughter. However, after you died, you suddenly came to again on a boat in the middle of a swamp, headed towards a very cursed place, on a mission to help the residents there. As in life, before you took that man's life, you were a very good person, and it seems your death has awakened some latent powers in yourself, but to sum up some of the intro, as the game tells you, if you want your peace, you're going to have to earn it, which apparently comes down to slaying all manner of generic monsters on top of, I'm told, eldritch horrors to come. So after a very mysterious intro where we are dropped into town, directed by a stranger, you find yourself just outside a town, and in short order you are given the task of clearing out zombies from the local waterway, which helps you get to grip with some of the basic mechanics and also puts you into contact with some of your first upgrades like your fire spell. After you clear this introductory dungeon, you'll be given a secondary task to go light a bonfire nearby to distract some of the undead that are assailing the town, as it is meant to keep them away. In doing so, you'll find other types of equipment, such as your first proper sword and a wrist-mounted crossbow alongside lightning magic, and as you start to accumulate these things, you'll notice their various effects. For starters, magic in this game doesn't seem to be so much damage-oriented as it does enable various effects. For instance, fire will of course set things on fire, such as explosive barrels and crates, alongside certain wooden beams and things, making things more accessible. Whereas once you get your lightning magic, this has a slight bit of combat utility in the sense that it will stun enemies, but you can also use it for navigation by using it to kickstart certain clockwork mechanisms. Both of these types of magic, though, are powered, of course, by mana, as you would expect, though mana you get from actually picking up from the various pickups in the game, because as you move through this world, which so far seems to be mostly open world outside of, maneuvering around various obstacles, almost Metroidvania-esque, but scattered throughout this world you're going to find all sorts of pickups and the like in that sort of classic FPS style, including things like armor, health, ammunition, etc. So a big part of combat is balancing all of that, of course. Now, the combat itself does have a few different difficulties associated with it, which is essentially how strapped for resources you're going to be in comparison to the waves of enemies you'll be facing, and of course, what type of enemy you'll be facing. And you'll be doing all of that while you seek to uncover what exactly is going on here. Why is this swamp or this bog so beset by all sorts of problems? Why exactly are you here being brought back from the dead? Just to name a few, though the time I've spent with this game definitely seems to imply that while the story is there, the environmental stuff is there, it's very much so a gameplay first sort of experience, and so you're going to be picking up lots of weapons, finding new ways to utilize them against certain types of enemies. For instance, you'll start with a base staff, but as you start completing objectives, you'll start earning stones for this staff, which can be swapped in and out to change the effect that it has on enemies. And once you start accumulating gold from all your kills, you can head back to the blacksmith, who can upgrade your items to do unique and varied things. For instance, you can upgrade your short sword to a sword that actually deals more damage as it is bloody in combat, or upgrading your wrist crossbow allows it to zoom in on targets, or in some cases just deal more damage. So all in all, I would say Graven is a title that oozes atmosphere, as you can probably see from on screen, and this is only one of the environments, there are others. There's also boss fights, there's also co-op if you'd like to take this challenge head on with someone to play with, that's also an option. So it looks like a game that is trying to do justice to its predecessors by certainly being a bit retro, but also bringing forth all sorts of modern mechanics. And if you like those retro games, or if any of this looks interesting to you, I think it at least is worth taking a look at. That said, this game launches in full from early access on January 23rd, and in the meantime, if you'd simply like more information on this, or if you want to see a full review, let me know down in the comment section below, because I haven't quite decided whether or not to fully review this one yet or not, but if enough people ask for it, I might certainly consider it. But as for this video, that's pretty much going to do it. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of Graven down in the comment section below, which of course means don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz, but regardless of any of that, truly, just thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. May you wander in wisdom and have an amazing day.